Let's get right into it. Number 1, punching a shark in the nose. Ah yes, the classic, just sock it in the snout, advice. Because nothing says survival like squaring up with a 1,500-pound underwater murder torpedo and hoping it respects your right hook. This myth has been passed around so often it's practically folklore. The idea is that the shark's nose is super sensitive, which is true, but here's the problem: you are underwater, panicked, and your hand-eye coordination is not Olympic level. And sharks, they don't wait for round 2. Also, let's talk logistics. The nose of a shark is roughly an inch away from its giant mouth full of razors. So the moment you go in for your underwater UFC debut, you're also offering up your arm as a snack. Cute. Marine biologists recommend aiming for the eyes or gills, if you have to. But let's be honest, the best strategy is not being near a shark in the first place. Punching it is basically sending an RSVP to your own buffet. So next time someone says, just punch it in the nose, feel free to ask if they've personally tried that, and survived to tell the tale. Spoiler, they haven't. Number 2, playing dead to avoid a bear attack. Okay, yes, this one is half true. But the other half is how you die. So here's the breakdown: if you're being attacked by a grizzly bear, playing dead might make it lose interest. Grizzlies sometimes just want to eliminate the threat, that's you, and move on. So lying still could work. But if it's a black bear? Oh no. That's a different vibe. Black bears are more curious, more agile, and more likely to interpret your corpse impersonation as, convenient snack time. If you play dead with a black bear, you're basically a protein bar in yoga pants. Experts say, if it's a black bear, fight back. Loud noises, hitting it with sticks, bear spray, anything. If it's a grizzly and it's already attacking, then yes, curl into a ball, protect your neck, and pray to literally every forest deity you can name. So yeah, play dead only works if you first correctly identify your bear species while adrenaline is melting your brain. No pressure. Number 3, sucking the poison out of a snake bite. This one sounds so heroic. Your friend gets bit by a snake, and you're suddenly Bear Grylls with a med school degree, slapping on a tourniquet and sucking venom out like you're saving their life. Bravo. Except, no. Absolutely not. Snake venom moves fast, through your lymphatic system, not your bloodstream, and by the time you start sucking, it's already making its grand tour. Also, let's not forget, your mouth is full of bacteria. So now you're just trading one problem for infection roulette. Even worse. If you've got cuts or sores in your mouth, and who doesn't, congratulations, you've now given the venom a direct VIP entrance to your body. So now you're both poisoned. Good job, team. What should you actually do? Keep the person calm and still, call emergency services, and let the professionals do their thing. Don't make it weird by treating your friend like a Capri Sun full of toxins. Number 4, drinking cactus water. It's hot, you're lost in the desert, and all those documentaries have taught you one thing: cactus equals water. So you bravely stab into a prickly green lump, ready to quench your thirst like some dusty cowboy survivor. And then, surprise! You start vomiting your soul out. Here's the truth: most cacti aren't full of refreshing hydration. They're full of alkaloids, which are toxic to humans. Your body reacts to this with an immediate and violent protest, which usually includes nausea, diarrhea, and dehydration, aka the things you're trying to avoid in a survival scenario. There's one exception, the barrel cactus, which has somewhat drinkable juice, if you're desperate and don't mind the taste of warm, slimy, bitter despair. But in general, drinking cactus water is like treating food poisoning with battery acid. You will absolutely get worse, and no, the desert doesn't care how many survival shows you've watched. Number 5, you can eat anything animals eat. Let's take a second to appreciate how wildly optimistic this myth is. Sure, animals eat it, so it must be safe, right? Wrong. So wrong. Unless you're trying to experience digestive failure as performance art, do not follow the culinary instincts of squirrels, raccoons, or that suspicious goat on the hill. See, animals have completely different digestive systems. Some have enzymes we don't. Some have stomachs of iron. Some, like birds, will gleefully eat berries that would make a human hallucinate their own skeleton doing taxes. And just because an animal isn't immediately dropping dead doesn't mean what it ate is fine. Lots of toxins take hours, sometimes days, to kick in. So unless you know botany and local ecology better than your own browser history, it's not worth the risk. Also, fun fact, squirrels eat mushrooms that would put a human 6 feet under in record time. And deer? They casually munch on plants that are deadly to us, like hemlock. So next time you see a chipmunk snacking on something and think, maybe I'll try that, don't. Just don't. That chipmunk's intestines are not your friend. Number 6, if you're lost, just follow a river. This one sounds poetic, right? The river leads to civilization. You picture yourself strolling downstream, birds chirping, eventually arriving at a village with soup and Wi-Fi. Reality check, rivers do lead somewhere, but it's often through miles of unforgiving terrain, dangerous rapids, and the occasional territorial wildlife who didn't exactly RSVP for your journey. Also, rivers don't care about your ankles. You could be forced to wade through freezing water, climb slippery rocks, or get trapped in a gorge with 0 exits and a rising current that wants you dead. And if it's the wrong river? You might end up even deeper in the wild, farther from help, because guess what, not all rivers lead to humans. Some just meander through hundreds of lonely forest miles until they die out like your hope. The better advice, orient yourself using terrain, conserve energy, stay visible for rescuers, and if you follow anything, let it be a clear, marked trail. Not a wet, winding death maze with fish. Number 7, you'll know what plants are poisonous by taste. Okay. Let's really dig into how absolutely, spectacularly idiotic this idea is. The logic seems to be, if it tastes bad, spit it out. If it tastes okay, eat it. Because clearly, nature makes all poisons taste like evil soup, right? Spoiler, it doesn't. Many of the most toxic plants on Earth taste just fine. Oleander. Pretty tasty. Castor bean. Smooth. Even death camas, yes, that's the actual name, won't set off your taste alarms before it shuts down your organs. Your taste buds are not a poison detector. They're more like enthusiastic interns, excited but totally unqualified. They're great with sugar and salt, terrible with alkaloids and neurotoxins. Also, the effects of plant poisoning can be delayed, so by the time your body starts reacting, you've already swallowed a second helping. There's a reason foraging is a whole science. It takes training, knowledge, and often, backup from someone who won't accidentally confuse wild parsley with hemlock. So please, no, just a little nibble, tests. You're not a deer. You're a fragile, bipedal panic machine. Act accordingly. Number 8, you can start a fire by rubbing sticks together. Ah yes, the iconic survival flex, rubbing 2 sticks together until fire magically appears like you're some kind of wilderness wizard. Now, technically this is possible. It's called friction fire, and yes, it can work. But here's the catch, it requires specific wood types, perfect technique, bone-dry conditions, and about the patience of a monk who's also a CrossFit champion. Your average 2 sticks and hope method. That'll get you blisters, not fire. The wood needs to be a soft hardwood and a harder spindle, you need a notch, a coal catcher, and something dry and fluffy enough to catch the tiniest ember. This is not just rubbing. This is precision fire surgery. Also, spoiler, if it's cold, wet, or windy, aka every actual survival situation ever, good luck even producing smoke, let alone a flame. It's romanticized in every movie, but most of those characters are either played by actors or blessed by the screenwriter gods. You. You'll probably end up sobbing over 2 sticks while it rains on your pride. The better move, carry a lighter. Or at least waterproof matches. Because rubbing wood together is less fire starter and more primitive frustration simulator. Number 9, moss grows on the north side of trees. This one sounds science-why, like you're suddenly a forest detective reading moss patterns like nature's compass. And yeah, sometimes moss grows on the north side. But also the east side. Or the west. Or the everywhere, depending on how moist and shady things are. Because moss isn't loyal to magnetic directions, it's loyal to humidity and shade. In fact, in dense forests, light and moisture bounce around in all kinds of directions. So if you're using moss to navigate, you're basically relying on a plant that's moisture-driven, not morally aligned with the Earth's axis. Also, some trees grow moss all around, like a fuzzy green betrayal. And in the southern hemisphere, the rules are completely different, so good luck using that tip in, say, Patagonia. Using moss as a compass is like trusting a cat to file your taxes. It might accidentally be helpful, but you probably shouldn't bet your life on it. If you really want to navigate, learn how to read the sun, stars, terrain, or, better yet, bring a compass. Moss is just out here doing its damp little best, don't drag it into your survival plan. Number 10, you can outrun a wild animal if you zigzag. Who started this one? And were they actively being chased at the time? The idea is that if a predator is after you, say, an alligator or a bear, you should zigzag, because they can't turn fast. Which, sure, sounds vaguely believable, until you realize you're suggesting that serpentine footwork will somehow outsmart 100 million years of evolved killing machines. Let's do some quick math. Alligators can hit 20 miles per hour in short bursts. Bears? Up to 35 miles per hour. You, meanwhile, are probably maxing out at a sad 7 miles per hour, and that's on a good day with good shoes and no panic pooping involved. Zigzagging might work on human snipers, but wild animals? They do not care. They are not confused by your clever turns. They are built to chase, pounce, and destroy, not lose interest because you suddenly swerved. In fact, zigzagging can slow you down, waste energy, and increase your chances of face-planting into a log while the bear watches, mildly amused. Real advice? If it's a predator like a bear, don't run at all, they'll chase. If it's an alligator on land, yes, run in a straight line, away from the jaws. And if it's a moose? Honestly, just apologize and hope for the best. Number 11. Snow can hydrate you. Ah yes, nature's frozen hydration bar. You're cold, thirsty, and surrounded by a winter wonderland of free water, so obviously the logical thing is to shovel some snow into your mouth, right? Yeah, don't do that. While it's technically water, snow is also ice, and your body has to burn calories and drop core temperature just to melt it. In survival terms, that's a bad trade. You're dehydrated and now colder. Congratulations, you've upgraded your problem to hypothermia. Also, snow is fluffy, so you have to eat a lot to get even a sip's worth. It's like trying to hydrate by licking a frosty pillow, inefficient, uncomfortable, and guaranteed to give you brain freeze and frostbite if you're not careful. What you should do instead is melt the snow first, using body heat, a fire, or even a dark-colored container in sunlight. That way you actually drink water, not turn yourself into a human slushy. So yeah, don't be fooled by the frosty aesthetic. Snow is nature's passive-aggressive way of saying, you want water? Work for it. Number 12, you can rely on your gut in a crisis. Your gut instinct is great for knowing when someone's lying about eating your leftovers. It's less great for high-stakes wilderness decisions where one wrong move means becoming part of the food chain. In survival scenarios, your brain is usually in full lizard mode, adrenaline surging, tunnel vision activated, logic tossed out like old takeout. You might feel confident, right before you walk in circles for 6 hours and end up back at your own footprints. The truth? Gut instincts are emotional shortcuts, not reliable strategies. They're shaped by bias, panic, and just enough overconfidence to get you into serious trouble. People get lost because they felt like they were going the right way. People drink bad water because they had a hunch it was fine. And people stay put in dangerous zones because they don't want to look dumb for overreacting. Spoiler, dead people don't get to explain that they were trying to seem chill. Survival requires training, rational thinking, and ideally a map. Or a whistle. Or literally any tool other than your overconfident amygdala. Trust your gut, to tell you when to stop and think, not to lead the expedition. Number 13, shelter isn't a priority, water is. Let's be clear, both are important. But if you're stranded in a snowstorm, rainforest, or desert night, your number one killer isn't dehydration, it's exposure. The 72-hour survival rule goes like this. 3 minutes without air. 3 hours without shelter, in extreme weather. 3 days without water. 3 weeks without food. So if the environment is harsh, cold, wet, windy, you could be in deep trouble within hours, long before thirst even becomes your main concern. People often waste precious energy hunting for water when what they really need is to stop heat loss, avoid hypothermia, or create shade to prevent heatstroke. That means building a shelter, even a makeshift one, can buy you the time to deal with everything else later. The real killer isn't dehydration. It's sitting exposed on a cold rock in wet clothes, telling yourself water is more important, as your body quietly shuts down like an old laptop. Survival isn't just about knowing what to do, it's about knowing what to do first. And unless you're lost in a climate-controlled spa, shelter wins that round. Number 14, survival is all about strength. Let's finish strong, or rather, smart. Because another dangerous myth? That surviving in the wild is all about muscles, toughness, and the will to punch a bear in the teeth. Nope. Survival is a thinking game. Yes, being fit helps. But the strongest person in the woods is still toast if they don't know how to filter water, regulate body temp, or stop walking in circles like a confused Sims character. The truth is, panic kills more people than exhaustion ever did. The survival MVPs are often the calm, the cautious, and the clever. People who can ration food, manage injury, stay mentally sharp, and think through problems instead of Hulk smashing every tree in sight. Survival isn't about brute force. It's about adaptability. It's a chess match against nature, and nature always plays dirty. So next time you're prepping for an adventure, bring knowledge, bring tools, and bring humility. Because the wild doesn't care about your deadlifts, it cares about whether you brought a poncho and a plan. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.